Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into the world of Washington quarter dollars, a coin that's been a part of American life since 1932. While most look like ordinary change, some hold rare mint marks, silver content, and valuable errors that make them highly sought after by collectors. Let's take a closer look at the history, key dates, and hidden treasures found in Washington quarters. The 1984 Washington quarter dollar was minted in Denver and is part of the regular circulation coinage of the United States during the latter part of the 20th century. The coin features the endearing portrait of George Washington, originally designed by John Flanagan in 1932 to commemorate the bicentennial of Washington's birth. The obverse side presents his profile facing left, with the inscriptions "Liberty" across the top, "In God We Trust" to the left of the bust, the date 1984 below, and the D mint mark to the right of the portrait, indicating it was struck at the Denver Mint. As a circulated coin, this 1984 D quarter displays the signs of its age and usage. The details of Washington's hair, especially the ribbon and the curls near the nape of the neck, may be worn down or smoothed out from handling. The high points of the design are often the first to wear, and in circulated condition, these areas lack the original sharpness seen in mint state coins. The surfaces of the coin may exhibit minor scratches, small nicks, or slight discoloration, all common features from being used in everyday transactions over many years. On the reverse, the design depicts a heraldic eagle, wings spread, perched on a bundle of arrows with olive branches beneath. The eagle's chest, wings, and the finer features of the arrows often show significant flattening on circulated examples. The inscriptions "United States of America" and "E Pluribus Unum" appear above the eagle, and quarter dollar is found below. While the basic design remains identifiable, the overall sharpness tends to be reduced on coins that have seen extensive circulation. The composition of the 1984 quarter is copper-nickel clad, with a core of pure copper sandwiched between two outer layers of copper and nickel alloy. This composition was introduced in the mid-1960s to replace the 90% silver coinage, and while it is durable, it can accumulate grime and lose its luster over time. The edge of the coin is reeded, though in circulated coins, the reeding may be partially worn or smoothed. In terms of mintage, over 546 million 1984 D quarters were produced, making it a common coin from a production standpoint. As such, circulated examples typically do not carry much numismatic value beyond face value unless they feature significant errors or are in unusually high grades for their condition. However, for collectors assembling date and mint mark sets, a 1984 D quarter is a necessary piece and holds interest as part of a larger collection. The significance of coins like this lies not necessarily in rarity, but in their role in everyday commerce and their representation of the period they were minted. Coins from the 1980s, including the 1984 D quarter, were part of a stable era in U.S. coinage, reflecting a time before the state quarter program and other major changes revitalized public interest in coin collecting, though it has circulated. The 1984 D quarter continues to serve as a practical example of American coinage and a tangible artifact from its time. Its condition may limit its appeal to high-end collectors, but it remains a valuable piece for hobbyists, educational purposes, and those interested in the complete history of the Washington quarter series. The 1980 D Washington quarter dollar is a coin that was produced at the Denver Mint during a time of notable economic and minting transitions in the United States. Like other quarters in the Washington series, it features a portrait of George Washington on the front, a design originally created by John Flanagan in 1932 to commemorate the 200th anniversary of Washington's birth. This design had remained in place for decades, and the 1982 edition continued the tradition with only minor variations in strike quality and finish. The coin in question is from 1982 and bears the D mint mark, indicating it was struck in Denver. That year is particularly significant for coin collectors and historians because the U.S. Mint did not produce mint sets for general collectors. This absence resulted in many circulated examples from 1980 to being the primary source of coins from that year, making higher-grade examples harder to find. However, the example here is in noticeably bad condition, with scratches and signs of wear that indicate long-term use in circulation. On the obverse side, the design shows George Washington's profile facing left, with inscriptions noting the country of issue and the national motto. Due to the coin's worn state, the finer details of Washington's hair, face, and clothing are likely smoothed down, and the inscriptions may show signs of fading. Scratches and marks on the surface can obscure or interrupt the visual appeal, which often affects the coin's desirability from a collector's standpoint. The reverse of the coin depicts a heraldic eagle with wings spread, clutching a bundle of arrows and an olive branch beneath. This image symbolizes both strength and peace and has been a consistent part of the quarter's reverse since its original design. On a coin in bad condition like this one, the eagle's feathers, the arrows, and the olive branch may all appear heavily worn or flattened. The inscriptions, such as United States of America and quarter dollar, may be dulled or partially obscured by the scratches that mar the coin's surface. The 1980 to D quarter was made from a copper nickel-clad composition. This means it has a core of copper with an outer layer of copper-nickel alloy, giving it a silver-like color. Over time and with extensive use, these coins can develop discoloration, spotting, or a dull finish. On coins with heavy circulation like this one, there is often an accumulation of grime or the presence of deeper scratches that go beyond light surface abrasions, especially if the coin was handled roughly or stored improperly. Although this coin is relatively common, the lack of mint sets for the year makes well-preserved examples from 1980 to more desirable among collectors than usual. However, coins in poor condition with noticeable scratches or damage typically do not hold any premium above face value unless they feature an error or variety that is in demand. Error coins from 1980 to do exist, including off-center strikes or die breaks, but these are rare and need to be authenticated and graded professionally to determine value. A coin in this condition, while not valuable in the traditional numismatic sense, can still be of interest to some collectors or enthusiasts who are assembling full-year sets of circulated quarters or studying wear patterns over time. It also serves as a small artifact of American currency history, representing the daily transactions of ordinary life during the early 1980s. Many people who collect circulated coins do so not for monetary value, but for the history and experience that each coin represents. A 1980 to D quarter with visible damage and where might have passed through countless hands, been used in everything from vending machines to toll booths, and traveled widely across the country. Its condition tells part of that story. Despite being scratched and worn, it remains a tangible connection to the past and a reminder of how physical currency once moved constantly through everyday life. The 2008 New Mexico State quarter dollar in circulated condition might not immediately stand out from the rest of your spare change, but there's a lot more going on with this coin than most people realize. As one of the final releases in the famous 50 State Quarters program, this piece carries more than just face value. It carries history, symbolism, and in some rare cases, the potential for serious collector value that can leave you speechless. That's right, a coin that's been through years of use, tossed in pockets and passed across counters, could still be hiding details that collectors are desperate to find. The design on the reverse of the New Mexico quarter is a simple yet powerful tribute to the state's deep cultural roots. At the center, you'll see the outline of the state of New Mexico, and above that is the ancient Zia sun symbol. That symbol is sacred to the Zia people, representing the 4 cardinal directions, the 4 seasons, the 4 times of day, and the 4 stages of life. Together, these elements make it one of the most spiritually rich designs in the entire series. The phrase Land of Enchantment is engraved beneath the image, capturing the mystery and beauty that defines New Mexico's identity, even after years. In circulation, many of these coins still hold the striking contrast and detail that make the design pop, but it's not just about the artwork. Some of these coins, even those that look average to the naked eye, are hiding rare mint errors that have sent shockwaves through the collecting world. One of the most valuable and exciting errors you can find on a New Mexico quarter is a double die. This occurs when the coin is struck twice but slightly misaligned. The result can be seen in the lettering, especially around the words New Mexico or Land of Enchantment, or in the rays of the Zia's sun symbol. If you spot doubling, especially clear and sharp doubling, that coin could easily be worth several $100s. In top condition with a strong double die, prices can climb into the thousands. Another eye-popping error collectors hunt for is the off-center strike. This is when the design is printed off the center of the coin blank, sometimes cutting off part of the image or even the date. If your coin has a strong off-center strike with the date still visible, its value can jump from 25 cents to over $1,000, depending on how dramatic the error is. These are easy to spot once you know what to look for, and they often turn up in circulated condition, just like yours. There are even more shocking types of mint errors, like coins struck on the wrong planchette. That means your New Mexico quarter could have been struck on a blank intended for a different coin altogether, like a nickel or a dime. These rare mix-ups can result in quarters that are the wrong weight, the wrong color, or even smaller or thinner than usual. When these wrong planchette errors are found and verified by experts, they have been known to sell for several $1,000s. Some have even gone for over $5,000, especially when the error is dramatic and the coin is well preserved. Die cracks and cuts are also valuable to many collectors. A die crack shows up as a thin raised line on the surface of the coin, often running through the state outline or the sun symbol. A cut appears as a raised bump or blob, usually along the rim, caused by a piece of the die breaking off during the minting process. While not as high in value as other major errors, large and well-placed die cracks or cuts can still bring in a few $100s from the right beer. For many Americans, especially those in their 50s to 70s, the New Mexico state quarter isn't just a coin, it's a memory. It's a reminder of the excitement that surrounded the 50 state quarters program when people of all ages were checking their change and looking forward to the next release. This coin brings back memories of road trips, family collections, and a sense of pride in the country's diversity. The symbols on this coin connect us to history, culture, and tradition. And for some, that connection comes with real financial value. So if you're holding a 2008 New Mexico quarter, don't dismiss it. Take a closer look, examine the edges, check the letters, and shine a light across the surface. You might be holding a rare error that turns your coin from everyday change into a piece worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. And while this coin is remarkable in its own right, what's coming next might be even more surprising. We're only just getting started, and the biggest shock could be in the very next coin. Keep watching and keep checking your change because something extraordinary could be right around the corner. The 1983 Washington quarter dollar was struck at the Denver Mint and forms part of the long-running series featuring the profile of George Washington on the obverse. Like other coins of this era, it was produced using a copper nickel-clad composition, which includes a core of pure copper with outer layers of copper-nickel alloy. This gives the coin a silvery appearance, but also makes it susceptible to wear and dulling over time, especially when it has been actively circulated, as is the case with this particular example. On the obverse, the familiar design by John Flanagan presents George Washington facing left. The inscriptions include liberty above the portrait and the motto "In God We Trust" to the left. The date, 1983, is centered at the bottom, with the D mint mark appearing to the right of the bust. In a circulated coin, many of the finer design details, such as Washington's hair and the sharpness of the lettering, can become smoothed or faint. Small abrasions, contact marks from other coins, and general dullness tend to accompany coins that have remained in circulation for several decades. The reverse features the image of a heraldic eagle, its wings spread wide, perched on a bundle of arrows and surrounded by olive branches. The inscriptions include United States of America and E pluribus unum above the eagle, and $quarter below. This design is a standard representation of American strength and unity. On a circulated 1983 D quarter, where is often noticeable on the eagle's feathers and the finer elements of the arrows and olive branch, in addition to where a circulated coin may exhibit tarnish, discoloration, or grime from prolonged handling. One notable fact about 1983 quarters, both from the Philadelphia and Denver Mint, is that the U.S. Mint did not release official mint sets for that year, similar to 1982. As a result, uncirculated examples of 1983 quarters are significantly scarcer than most other modern quarters, which has given them slightly more attention in the collector market. However, circulated examples, like the one in question, are still relatively common, and their value generally remains close to face unless in very high grade or featuring a known mint error. While the overall design remains consistent, every coin accumulates its own history. A coin from 1983 that has been in circulation may have been used in countless transactions, traveled across states, and passed through generations of daily usage. The marks, nicks, and softening of features are physical representations of that journey. In this case, the coin retains its basic structure and all necessary identifying features, but the softness of its details and signs of wear make it a less desirable piece for collectors seeking pristine condition. That said, coins like this one often find a place in typesets, circulated condition collections, or in educational displays that show the wear progression of coins over time. They are also valuable to hobbyists and beginning collectors who enjoy building complete date and mint mark collections without focusing on uncirculated or high-grade coins. The 1983 D Washington quarter remains part of an important era in U.S. numismatics. Its presence during a time when mint sets were unavailable makes it a small but notable piece of numismatic history. Even in circulated condition, though it may not hold significant monetary value, it offers insights into both the minting practices of the early 1980s and the role of physical coinage in American commerce. The 2008 Hawaii State $quarter in circulated condition is not just another end-of-series coin in the 50 state quarters program. It carries with it a powerful story, a deeply meaningful design, and for a small number of collectors, a shocking value that has turned heads across the numismatic world. Though millions were minted, there are rare examples of this coin that have stunned experts and fetched surprising prices, especially those with specific errors or unusual characteristics. For anyone holding one, this isn't just pocket change, it could be a quiet treasure hiding in plain sight. The Hawaii State Quarter was the very last release in the historic 50 State Quarters series. Its release marked the end of a decade-long journey through all 50 states, and for that reason alone, it holds a special place in the hearts of collectors. The reverse design features the legendary King Kamehameha I, with his outstretched hand welcoming viewers to the islands. Behind him is a beautifully etched outline of the Hawaiian Islands, along with the inscription of the state motto written in Hawaiian. It's one of the most majestic and symbolic designs in the entire program, and even in circulated condition, its beauty and significance are unmistakable. While many might assume this coin is too recent or too common to be worth anything more than face value, that assumption has been shattered time and again by collectors who've uncovered rare errors that turn this quarter into a high-dollar item. One of the most valuable errors found on the Hawaii quarter is the double die, with all the intricate details on the design, especially in King Kamehameha's robe, his extended arm, and the state motto. There are plenty of opportunities for doubling to occur during the minting process. When visible doubling is found and authenticated by experts, the value can leap into the hundreds or even thousands of dollars, especially if the doubling is bold and affects multiple parts of the design. Another striking error that has shocked collectors is the off-center strike. This error occurs when the coin blank is not properly aligned under the die, resulting in a portion of the design being misaligned or cut off entirely. depending on how far the design is shifted and whether the date remains visible. These coins can sell for anywhere from a few hundred to over $1,000. The more dramatic the off-center error, the higher the value collectors are willing to pay. There are also rare examples of the Hawaii state quarter struck on the wrong planchet. These mint mistakes, though exceptionally uncommon, have appeared in circulation and have been authenticated after discovery. Imagine finding a Hawaii quarter that was struck on a blank intended for a dime or a foreign coin. The size, color, or weight would be noticeably different. These types of errors have sold for several $1,000s at auction and continue to be highly sought after by those who specialize in mint-era coins. Even smaller imperfections, such as die cracks, die chips, or cuts can raise the value of a circulated Hawaii quarter, a cud, which is a raised blob of metal caused by a piece of the die breaking off, can add real value depending on its size and location. Die cracks, which appear as raised lines, often run through the king's figure or across the Hawaiian Islands. While not as dramatic as a double die or wrong planchet, these errors can still bring in anywhere from $50 to several $100s, especially if they're prominent and well-defined. For many people in their 50s, 60s, or 70s, the Hawaii quarter is especially memorable. It was the final piece in a national collecting adventure that spanned 10 years. Grandparents collected them with their grandchildren, families waited for each new release, and millions of Americans participated in what became one of the most popular coin series in U.S. history. The Hawaii design, with its regal figure and warm invitation, felt like the perfect finale. It represented not only the beauty and history of the islands, but also the unity of all 50 states under a single flag. Now, years later, that same coin could still hold value beyond its beauty. It could be hiding a minting mistake that turns it from common change into a rare collectible. All it takes is one careful look at your Hawaii quarter. Check the edges, examine the lead earring. Look for signs of doubling or misalignment. That single coin you've had sitting in a drawer for years might just be worth a lot more than 25 cents. And as fascinating as the Hawaii state quarter is, what's coming next may be even more shocking, because with every coin we explore, the possibility grows that the next one could be the one that changes everything. So keep your eyes open, your hands steady, and your curiosity high. The real surprise might still be ahead. The 1980 1D Washington quarter dollar was minted at the Denver Mint and carries the D Mint mark to the right of George Washington's portrait on the obverse. This coin is part of the long-running Washington quarter series that began in 1932. The design remained largely unchanged for decades, maintaining a sense of continuity in American circulating coinage. On the obverse of the coin is the familiar bust of George Washington, facing left. This portrait, designed by John Flanagan, includes the inscriptions Liberty at the top, In God We Trust to the left of the portrait, and the year 1981 at the bottom. The D Mint mark indicating the Denver Mint is placed just to the right of the ribbon in Washington's hair. This particular coin is in good condition. That means it has seen circulation, but has retained most of its details clearly. Washington's features, such as the cheek, jawline, and hair, are likely somewhat worn, but the key design elements remain easily visible. The fields may show minor contact marks or light scratches from regular handling, but there is no major damage. The edges are intact with the reeded border still largely defined. The reverse of the coin features a heraldic eagle with wings spread, perched on a bundle of arrows with olive branches below. Above the eagle is the motto E Pluribus Unum, and surrounding the design are the inscriptions United States of America and quarter dollar. On a coin in good condition, much of the fine detailing on the eagle, such as the feathers and the tips of the arrows, may show signs of softening from wear. Though the overall design remains identifiable and clean, the coin is composed of a copper nickel-clad alloy, standard for quarters minted after 1965. This clad composition, with a copper core and outer layers of nickel, results in a silver-gray appearance. In good condition, the coin likely still has some natural shine. The though the luster may be subdued due to age and use. Over 575 million Washington quarters were minted in Denver in 1981, making this a common date within the series. Its value in circulated, good condition is typically its face value, though it holds interest for collectors seeking to build a full date and mint mark set. The 1981 D quarter represents an era of American coinage when designs remained consistent year after year. It was part of everyday life, passed through the hands of millions of people in commerce, and now serves as a quiet record of its time. Though it is not a rare or high-value coin, it holds its place in the broader story of U.S. coins and the Washington Quarter series. The 2005 Kansas State Quarter Dollar in good condition may appear like just another coin in your collection, but this unassuming piece of metal carries with it a story full of pride, heritage, and for a rare few, astonishing value that can reach into the thousands. As part of the 50 State Quarters program, this coin showcases a striking design and unexpected minting surprises that have left collectors stunned and eager to get their hands on the rarest examples. What might seem like a simple 25-cent piece could actually be a hidden gem hiding in plain sight, waiting to be discovered by someone just like you. The Kansas Quarter features an image that instantly brings to mind the sweeping plains and agricultural legacy of the state. On the reverse side, you'll find a beautifully detailed depiction of a buffalo standing proudly on the prairie, with tall grass waving beneath its feet. Above the buffalo is the word Kansas and the year 1861, representing the year the state joined the Union. Just beside the animal is a sunflower, the official state flower, adding a touch of natural beauty to the design. The entire scene perfectly captures the soul of Kansas: rugged, natural, and proud. Now here's where things get exciting. While millions of these coins were produced by the U.S. Mint, a small number of them made it into circulation with major minting errors. These errors have become some of the most famous and highly sought after in the entire State Quarters series. The most well-known of these is the "In God We Rust" error. That's right, on some Kansas quarters, the letter T in the word trust is either missing or extremely faint due to a fill die error during the minting process. This small change turns the national motto into a humorous and shocking mistake, and collectors absolutely love it. Even in circulated condition, a Kansas quarter with the "In God We Rust" error can sell for over $100. In better condition or with strong clarity, values have reached up to $1,000 or more. Another thrilling discovery is the double die error, where parts of the design are struck twice but slightly off-center. On the Kansas quarter, doubling has been seen in the lettering, particularly around the words Kansas or E pluribus unum. When these double die examples are verified by professional grading services, they can easily fetch hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on the intensity of the doubling and the overall coin condition. There have also been reports of Kansas quarters struck on the wrong coin blanks. These are called wrong planchet errors and result in coins that might be the wrong weight, wrong metal, or even a different size. For example, if a Kansas quarter was struck on a nickel or dime planchet, its value could skyrocket. These types of errors are extremely rare but have been authenticated and sold for thousands of dollars. Even more astonishing is the fact that some of these errors have been found in everyday change. Die cracks, die chips, and cuts are other types of errors that can raise the value of a Kansas quarter. These occur when parts of the die become damaged or worn during production, leaving raised lines or blobs of metal on the coin. For example, a die chip might appear near the buffalo's horn or leg, and while it may seem like a tiny flaw, these imperfections are loved by collectors who value the uniqueness they bring. Depending on the size and location, these minor errors can raise a coin's value to $50 or even several $100s. What makes the Kansas quarter so meaningful to many Americans, especially those aged 50 and older, is not just its beauty or rarity, but the memories it brings back. The buffalo represents the vast American West, a symbol of strength and survival. The sunflower evokes memories of summer road trips, fields stretching to the horizon, and the deep connection between people and land. The state quarter program brought these stories into our homes, our wallets, and even our hearts, and today, this little coin still has the power to surprise, whether through its artwork or its incredible value. So if you have a 2005 Kansas state quarter in good condition, take a moment and look closer. Pay attention to the details, check the T in trust, look for odd lines, bumps, or doubling in the letters. What you thought was just another quarter could actually be a rare mistake worth far more than anyone would expect. And the best part, we're not done yet. The next coin we explore may just be the one that changes everything. Next up we have the 2021 state quarter dollar. In circulated condition may seem modern and ordinary at first glance, but don't let its recent date fool you. Even today's coins can hold remarkable surprises that leave collectors speechless. The 2021 quarters are part of the final chapter in the long-running and beloved America the Beautiful series, which honored national parks and significant sites across the United States. This particular year featured the Tuskegee Airmen National Historic Site Quarter, a powerful tribute to the bravery and legacy of America's first black military aviators during World War II. The design is both moving and historical, and for collectors, it marks the end of an era with a coin that carries unexpected value and potential. The reverse of the 2021 quarter features a dramatic scene of a Tuskegee Airman in full gear, standing tall and proud as aircraft soar in the background. The words "they fought two wars" appear boldly across the image, referring to both the fight against fascism abroad and racism at home. This is one of the most emotionally powerful designs in the entire series and resonates deeply with collectors who value historical significance. Despite being released in recent memory, this coin is already gaining momentum among those who recognize the importance of preserving stories through currency. Now here's where it gets even more interesting. Several 2021 quarters have already been identified with stunning minting errors that dramatically increase their value. One of the most well-known is the retained cut error, where a portion of the die breaks off but remains in place, causing a dramatic raised bubble or extra metal on the coin. On the Tuskegee Airman quarter, retained cuts have been seen near the rim and aircraft, and these coins can fetch up to $200 even in circulated condition. With stronger detail or certification from a grading company, the price can quickly climb even higher. Another sought-after error is the die clash, which occurs when the front and back dies strike each other without a blank coin in between. This results in faint ghost-like images of the reverse design showing up on the obverse side or vice versa. When visible on a 2021 quarter, especially around the profile of George Washington or near the date, collectors can pay $100 to several $100 depending on how intense and clear the clash marks are. Some 2021 quarters have also been found with dramatic off-center strikes, where part of the design is printed away from the center of the coin. The more extreme the offset and the more intact the date and design elements remain, the more valuable the coin becomes. A clean off-center strike on a 2021 quarter can be worth $500 or more, and when found in circulated condition, it becomes a true surprise to the unsuspecting holder. There are also a few examples of double die errors, especially in the lettering or the details of the airman's uniform. Doubling is usually most visible in the phrase "they fought two wars" or around the aircraft. A strong double die error authenticated by a professional grading service could fetch several hundred to over $1,000 depending on condition and clarity. These errors may be rare, but they are out there, and collectors are constantly on the hunt. Beyond the minting mistakes, even standard 2021 quarters in excellent condition are being snapped up by collectors hoping to complete their full set of America the Beautiful quarters. Since this series spanned over a decade and includes dozens of different designs, having the final coin in the series in good or uncirculated condition adds significant appeal. While a typical circulated example might not raise eyebrows, one with high luster and minimal wear can still bring in more than face value from the right beer. For those who grew up watching coins come and go, the 2021 quarter represents more than just currency. It marks the conclusion of a series that told the story of America's landscapes, people, and struggles through detailed and meaningful designs. Holding one of these coins is like holding a piece of recent history, a tribute not only to the Tuskegee Airmen, but to all the stories captured in this long and celebrated series. Whether you're a lifelong collector or someone just starting to pay closer attention to the change in your pocket, the 2021 quarter is a piece you won't want to overlook. So take a moment to really inspect that 2021 quarter. Flip it over, study the details, look for odd shapes, extra lines, or faint images where they shouldn't be. Even a coin that looks modern and worn can hide an extraordinary surprise. You might just be holding the final coin in one of America's greatest collecting series, and if it has the right kind of error, its value could be far more than you'd ever expect. And if you think this was fascinating,